Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football, and welcome back to another edition of The Winning Drive. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers. Pleased to be joined by the coach, former high school football coach at Vernon, Capel, Brownwood, Belton, Rotan. Also played college football at Abilene Christian and coached there in multiple stints. Was also on the University of Texas football coaching staff for multiple head coaches. And now you can catch his work at ShipleyRanches.com. It's our coach, Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you doing?
Hey, what's happening? I'm just hanging out. Check this out. I'm just
look at that.
Hanging out at the lake house, Horseshoe Bay, my buddy.
Nice. Oh, that's nice,
it's all
Coach.
good.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous, Coach. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm jealous. You gonna be out there all weekend? You gonna be out there?
No.
Okay.
Just head back to Abilene tomorrow.
Okay. All right. That's still nice. Hey, it's still real nice.
My hair's I've been out on the jet ski. My hair kind of blown back like Elvis.
Coach, you still been out? You still go out on the jet ski, man?
He's got one. It was 65 miles an hour.
Man,
I was going 65 across LBJ. It was freaking awesome. Not a boat on the lake.
Man, Coach, you a daredevil. I can't believe you doing that. I don't know why. You know what? I underestimated you, Coach. I underestimated you. I don't know why. I just assumed like, ain't no way Coach doing stuff like that. You basically out there water sporting it up.
Oh yeah.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. Coach, you surprise me every show. You never cease to amaze me, man. You always surprise me.
Unfortunately, it's probably more the disappoint than it is amaze. But
nope, not at all. Nope. It's always, trust me, it's always a pleasant surprise most of the time.
Thank you.
But I appreciate Coach joining us.
Dickie Doo.
Thank you, Randy. Dickie Doo. Boom. Exactly.
Boys, stay away from that Dickie Doo, man. Do what you got to do.
Dickie Doo and gay bikers. Not there's anything wrong with that.
I know.
All right? But thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for your participation. You know how this works. Super chats, jump to the front of the line. You can interrupt the show at any time. We'll try to answer and address as many of your comments or questions as we can. We'll hit on all things Texas, Oklahoma. It is 3:21 and Oklahoma still sucks. They always will. Those will accept those all day. All right. Of course, no matter what time of the day it is. But we'll get into a little bit of the availability report that came out yesterday. Also, the latest reports about the status of some of the Texas players. We'll get into that. And also, of course, we'll preview the Texas-Oklahoma matchup. Hey, Coach, I think the first bit of news that at least was confirmed today by Steve Sarkisian, and I don't think it was a surprise to anyone, probably the worst kept secret in Austin. Quinn Ewers will indeed start the Texas OU game. It's done. He is the starter. That was reported by several outlets, including I saw that Brian Davis reported as well that Quinn will indeed start Saturday versus Oklahoma. How do you expect Quinn to play in this game? I mean, last year he started out a little bumpy. All right, things were a little choppy early on. Then he settled in and had some of the best 3 quarters of football we've ever seen Quinn play, actually. But these are legacy games, especially for quarterbacks. Yeah. These are legacy games. What is your expectation for Quinn and how he's going to play against this game against a very, very formidable Oklahoma defense?
Yeah, and a defense, as we've talked about all week, who's not going to necessarily show Quinn what they've been showing people. They're going to show there we go. There's my man.
Hey.
They're going to show Quinn some things he hadn't seen, but Quinn is older and wiser, and he is seasoned. I look for him to make up ground. You know, he's missed 2 games. He's going to be focused. He's going to be dialed in. He's going to get back in the Heisman race. That's my prediction for him. After this game, he'll be back in the talk. You know, when you don't play, you're out of the talk. But when you play and you beat a formidable opponent, you're one of your top 2 rivals. I'm with you, Shane. He goes off. I think he goes off.
Yeah. I think a lot of Longhorn fans believe that too. And Coach, in the big games, those are your Heisman moments. He was one of the front runners for the Heisman right after that Michigan game because it was a big game, and he played some of the best football we've seen him play. He was the best version of himself in that matchup. Same thing here. I think going against Oklahoma, I do think you get the best of Quinn. And as long as, you don't get the mistakes and he doesn't turn the football over, I think he's going to have an epic game. I'm with you, Coach. I'm starting to feel that as well for Quinn, especially with all the weapons that he has. Speaking of weapons, I saw, speaking of status reports and availability, my man CJ Vogel put it out there based on the availability report. And then we did hear from, I think it was Pete Thamel today, confirmed that Deion Burks, who some people thought would, make this potentially be available for Oklahoma in this game. Pete Thamel was reporting that he will not be available for this game and won't play. And if that is indeed the case, then Oklahoma once again will be down. Thank you very much, Matthew. Matthew is a professional and constant professional, real MVP. But if that is indeed the case, as Pete Thamel mentions here, then, Coach, they're going to be down once again their top five receivers on their roster. No Deion Burks, no Nick Anderson, Andrell Anthony expect to be out. Jarrell Farouk, of course, Jaden Gibson. That is a blow to Oklahoma, and that's one of the reasons why statistically, and I don't know, we can go over some of the numbers, but they are sad numbers to say the least for Oklahoma fans. Why that offense is one of the worst offenses in college football right now.
Well, I wonder what questionable means. Does questionable mean we're going to give you hope and then we're going to run them out on the field?
No, he ain't playing.
I don't know.
They're saying he's out, basically. They're saying he's out. They're saying he's not expected to play. But you're right. I mean, I guess they could, but that's what he's reporting.
Well, I wish he was playing. I want him to have all the players when we play him. I don't want to hear anything after the game.
Yeah. It's true. You're going to hear it then. You're going to hear that because.
Oh, you're going to hear it. Yeah. Oh, if we'd have had all our guys,
That's true. But that is a big reason why the offense lacks potency. The offense, if you look at explosive play rate, 130th in the country in explosive play rate. If you look at rushing yards per game, and rushing yards per carry, I think they're 101st, 111th, and 106th in those categories, 129th in third down conversion rate. They've only completed 8 passes of 20-plus yards. Only 6 teams have fewer than that in college football, and Michigan and ULM, Texas, who has played, obviously Texas played both of those teams, and they were vertically challenged teams. They're 2 of the 6 teams to have fewer than that. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs overall looking at that Oklahoma offense. I don't really know, Coach, how they move the football really against this Texas defense consistently. And I'm not. Well, I don't want that to sound overconfident, but also a true freshman quarterback starting for the first time in the program's history. If the Texas defense is as good as we think, they're going to struggle without a lot of their weapons on the outside to move the football consistently against Texas.
Yeah, that is what the statistics show. That's what people believe. But dadgum, Rod, you know as well as I do. I mean, I'm not taking the what do they call it? The rat bait? The
rat poison? Rat poison.
I'm not taking the rat poison. This is a must-win game from OU. Don't think they're going to come out and do what they've been doing. They're going to throw some new stuff out there. They got nothing to lose. Most people don't expect them to win the game. Most people don't expect them to compete in the game. That scares me. That scares me. In this game, that scares me. But I'm an old guy who's been around a lot. I've seen Texas beat OU when they shouldn't have. I've seen OU beat Texas when they shouldn't have. Yeah. You have too. We all have.
Yeah, you're right about that.
On paper, it's not a close game. But unfortunately, or fortunately, they don't play the game on paper. So I'm just telling you, be ready, because OU will make some plays offensively and they'll make some plays defensively. How will we overcome that?
Yep. Now, Coach ain't falling for the rat poison.
No.
Nick Saban used to call it. No, but you're right. I've seen some things that I couldn't believe my eyes. And we've seen some huge upsets for Texas and on the Oklahoma part. So, yeah, there's some strange things that happened in this game. There's no doubt about that. I did see this stat that I thought was interesting, too. You remember the game-winning drive and the game-winning play that Oklahoma had last year against Texas to win that game. This came from the Oklahoman. It said here that the 11 Sooners on the field for that game-winning touchdown, none of them will suit up in the Cotton Bowl on Saturday. Not one of them.
Wow.
And that includes the OC, obviously, Jeff Levy. He's gone. He's at Mississippi State. It's just that's a lot of continuity to lose. There's a lot of turnover there with that program right now. I think there's a bit of an offensive identity crisis, but Coach, I'm with you. Texas, they better not, they better not sell Oklahoma short. They're a prideful program.
You better come ready for a battle.
You better come ready for a fight. I like to call it the State Fair Street Fight. I don't like to call it the Red River Rivalry because I can't say that after I've drank 2 beers. I don't like the Red River Showdown because that don't have enough edge to it. The shootout is politically incorrect. We all agree with that now. We're not trying to, promote shootouts and stuff like that. I get it. But the State Fair Street Fight is just right.
Just right.
Ain't nothing wrong with a good street fight every now and then, especially if, we just throwing hands and it's at the State Fair. And I think that describes it. Me and my man Craig Wade worked together and started describing it as the State Fair Street Fight. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. All right, let's take some questions. And before we do that, let's thank one of our sponsors. Thank our friends over at Duck Camp. Duck Camp produces premium outdoor goods for the outdoor spirit in all of us. Duck Camp is dedicated to providing the best outdoor goods so you can outdoor good, whether you're an avid hunter or you're a fisherman or you, like me, you prefer to hang out around the campfire. You prefer the camaraderie of the campsite. Duck Camp is a brand that understands the culture of outdoor living and the good times and good friends that come along with living an outdoor lifestyle. Check out their new fall selection. You can go and check it out online today at duckcamp.com. That's duckcamp.com. And we appreciate them sponsoring the winning drive.
I'm representing the Duck Camp today, baby.
Yeah.
My favorite shirt. Favorite shirt. It's so comfortable. I love it.
And Coach actually does some hunting and some fishing. See, I'm a pretender. I put it on and act like I'm doing some of that. I sit around the campsite and drink beers and hang out, have a good time. Coach is actually an outdoorsman, so he really can represent what Duck Camp is all about. So thank you, Duck Camp. We appreciate them. How about this? CJ is going to join us at one point. I see somebody asking what's going on with CJ. CJ's got an event that he has to attend tonight. So he's going to join us for like 15, 20 minutes. And I believe he's going to be looking spiffy, Coach. I think he's going to be looking like dressed in his best kind of formal attire when he joins us. I think he's going to a really fancy event tonight. I believe it's Earl Campbell and Tyler that's kind of throwing it. I mean, it's a family event for the Campbell family, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll let CJ confirm that and talk to you about it. But let's get to a question here. My man CB, shout out to CB. He says, Coach, tomorrow is the 16th anniversary of the 2008 Red River Shootout. Jordan had a legendary performance in that game. It was a legendary performance. Coach, and this is something somebody else was talking about in the chat, and I actually want to see what your thoughts are about on it, and if you remember any details about it. They used Jordan in a very interesting schematic way in that game. They basically put him as a flex in that game. There you go. Thanks, Kyle. Says, hey, Coach, I would love to hear Jordan's perspective on when he played tight end in the Red River Rivalry in 08. It was basically a flex position, right? They kind of put him at a reduced split there. And it was a brilliant schematic adjustment. I mean, it really did catch Oklahoma by surprise. You could tell. Yeah.
Greg Davis, through film saw that they were trying to cover the tight end, H-back, whatever, with a linebacker. And so they just put Jordan in that spot, and he just had a heyday. Should have had 2 touchdowns. One of them was called down. The block that Quan Cosby had on one of your favorrait plays, they actually called Jordan down about the 6-inch line, and we scored the next play.
Yeah.
But that was a big game. Quan had a big game, of course. And Chris Obanaya sealed the deal at the end of the game with a long run up the Texas sideline to seal the game.
And honestly, I was talking to Jeremy Hills about that run and Fozzie about that run, and they actually brought it up. And they because Crazy brought it up, Coach. They talked about how patient Chris Obanaya was on that run. Because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Major the running back coach back then? If I'm not mistaken,
I believe he was, and we've talked about this before. But Chris Obanaya was a wide receiver, recruited and started his career as a wide receiver, and then he moved over into the running back spot and wound up having a great career for us and a great career in the NFL, actually.
Yeah, he did have a great career in the NFL. And he was playing like a fullback / H-back in the league too. Just versatile. You talked about him playing wide receiver in high school, plays running back in college, goes to NFL. It's like a fullback / H-back there. And yeah, Major was the running back coach. And they were talking about how Major, they were practicing that play. I think it was like a stretch play. And it was all about patience. And Major kept talking about how you had to be patient and wait for the play to hit. Wait for all your blocks to align. Don't hit it too quickly. If you hit it too quickly, you may gain some yards, but you're not going to pop it. If you want to pop it, you got to be patient. And he was perfectly patient. And then he popped it at the perfect time. Then they were talking about how that was coaching film, essentially. Like, this is the perfect way to run this play. And because it was executed perfectly, that they popped it against Oklahoma. And you're right, that's what sealed the deal. Chris Obanaya, one thing also stands out to me, and I always throw him out there for this, one of the most versatile offensive weapons in Texas football history. And the reason I can say this is because there have only been, in the last 40, 50 years, there have only been 2 players who have had at least 30 rushes and 40 receptions in the season. It was Chris Obanaya in 2008 and Eric Metcalf in 1988. It doesn't happen a lot. I thought Jaden Blue might get close this season, but we shall see. I'm not sure. But it's very rare to have that set of skills. And he was that skillful. It makes sense, Coach, when you brought up the fact that he was a wide receiver in high school. I was like, that makes sense. That's why Coach Davis knew that too. He's like, no, we can use him in the passing game. And he did.
What's crazy is it blows my mind to think about the fact that was 16 years ago. 16 years ago.
Wow.
2008. That's crazy.
Yeah. Now you made me feel old, Coach. Now. Thank you, Matthew. Yeah, but that was a really good season for Chris Obanaya. 2008. I think that's what showcased to the NFL that, oh no, this guy can play on Sundays. He's got that kind of versatile skill set. Definitely showcased it. Good question there. Appreciate you guys. Super chat from Lil Dankster. Thank you, Lil Dankster. We appreciate that. Colt and Jordan, one of the best combos ever. Yeah, that I think it may have been. I don't know if there was a greater college bromance between a quarterback and a wide receiver in the history of college football. I mean, it's rare to find one that was that good for that long. I mean, they were fantastic. Oh, thank you, Lil Dankster. Hey,
what's up?
Look at this. Oh, look at CJ. I see Mama Vogel's in the chat too, so I'm sure she's very proud.
Yeah.
Looking spiffy. Shout out to Mama Vogel.
Vogel.
Yeah.
Woo, my little Hercules.
I'm sure Mama chatting away after this morning, but no, this is nice that y'all will ever see me. So here we go.
Looking good. Yeah. Look at Mama.
Hey, mamas love to see they babies dressed up. They love it. They still, even you're a grown man, they still like to see it. Yeah, there you go. Looking spiffy. I don't know. Can you tell the folks, give them a hint at what you're doing tonight? Why you're so spiffy? Because otherwise, people they're gonna be speculating all over the place.
Well, I don't have a date. I'll leave it at that. So, no, I'm over at the Dallas Executive Airport right now. I on the side I do some work for Earl Campbell and his son Tyler Campbell. Tyler obviously was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So tonight is Earl and Tyler's charity event. Kind of benefiting multiple sclerosis for Pro Player Foundation. So we're up here at the Agatha Hangar at the Dallas Executive Airport. All sorts of tasting stations. Nice. Some former Cowboys, some NFL Hall of Famers. So really cool deal if you want to, find ways to get involved, proplayerfoundation.org. So cool deal. I'm glad to be a part of it. Really cool.
Yeah, see everybody giving CJ a hard time. It's because you look good, man. You look good, CJ. Looking good. No doubt about that. Looking spiffy. All right. Because I know you're not on for long. So while we got you, I just give me a score prediction. And give me a score prediction and a crazy prediction, and then we'll let you go. And then whatever coach wants to ask you. Score prediction, crazy prediction. That's what I want to know.
Ooh, score prediction. I've seen 38, like 20, 38-17 tossed out a lot, and that's where my mind originally goes. But this game's weird. I don't think Texas scores 40. I think there's too much talent for Oklahoma defensively. If they hold on to the football, there's no way that they lose. If they have one turnover, that it incrementally increases. I don't think Texas loses this game. I think they win. Where does Oklahoma score? I don't know. I'm looking at 35-10. I think I like 35-10 for the Longhorns here.
I like that. That's not bad. Yeah, I like that. That's not bad.
Now, crazy prediction.
Yeah, give me a crazy.
The crazy prediction, Rod, and y'all will see this, whenever the Oklahoma preview comes out, because we just talked about it. I think Matthew Golden's going to throw a touchdown pass in this game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get into their bag a little bit. It's a crazy game. Some of these rivalry games, we saw it last year. You had the blocked punt, you had the reverse. Teams they get freaky in these games. I like Matthew Golden to throw a touchdown pass, and if he doesn't, well, someone's going to throw a touchdown pass. That's not Quinn. Write that one down.
I like that. Now, that's a crazy prediction. That is because we haven't seen. We know Sark loved the double pass. Yeah, we hadn't seen it. We hadn't seen any trickery. We hadn't seen any trick plays from Sark. I could see something crazy up Sark's sleeve in this game. No doubt about that.
Write it down.
All right. Yeah, no doubt. All right, CJ, we don't keep you long because I know you're a busy man. I don't want you to start sweating in the suit. Look good. So I know you got things to do. Thanks for joining us.
I got the AC cranked up in here, Rod. So you know how it goes in these things.
All right, man. Well, represent. Have a great night. Have a good time. And thanks for joining us, CJ. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, guys. Have fun at the fair for everyone that's going as well. Thank you, Coach.
Nice. That's CJ Vogel. Hey, looking good. Hey, he said he's gonna look spiffy. I ain't asked him what color, what the bottoms, what color pants he had on with the match the blue, but the blue was sharp. I ain't gonna lie, that was a little sharp.
Sharp.
Looking good. All right, let's get back to the questions here. How about this one from Trace Lagunas? Thank you, Trace, for the question. Would we be worried with Arch playing with how this OU defense is, with him having very little experience, especially in this game? First of all, I'm gonna knock on wood because Arch ain't gonna get to see it. Well, maybe he will. If you blow him out by 30, 40, hey, you know what? Maybe you'll get to see some Arch in that regard. But I'm hoping that's the only way we get to see Arch is that you blowing him out by 40-something points, and then let's put Arch in there. But I wouldn't be. Listen, I saw Pro Football Focus. They had Arch graded. Make sure I get the stat right. They had Arch graded as at a 90.4 still right now at a 90.4 Pro Football Focus grade. That is the 7th highest in the country for quarterbacks. So essentially, they're saying Texas got 2 top 10 QBs. I wouldn't lose that much confidence if Arch was in there against this Oklahoma defense. I think they would make more plays than they would against Quinn, of course, because it's a really good defense. But in terms of winning the game overall, because of Texas defense versus their offense and the complementary aspect of it, I think Texas will still be okay. I think Arch he's more than capable if that was the case. But like I said, won't see it. Yeah. All right. Jose, thank you for the question, Jose. It's for you, Coach. He says, Coach, do coaches game plan all week long up until game day, or is it all done much before game week and it's just implementation?
Great question, Jose. So they've had people breaking down OU since the summertime, maybe even last spring. Okay. And they've continued to break them down until it's our open week. Then they turn it over to the coaches, and then the coaches already probably have some things that they know that they've kept in their back pocket for OU. But I think there is kind of a big picture. This is what they do. This is what we feel like as analysts or assistants or whatever we feel like that we can do to them. And then the OC and DC take over and hone in on the game plan based on the work that they've done probably since last spring on OU. But there's certainly part of the game plan that has been put together before we even got to the open week, but some ideas. And then once the open week came, I'm sure our coaches got together and finalized that game plan, or I'm sure they finalized it because OU was off while we were off, so they weren't going to see anything else new on them. They had all they were going to have on them. So I think they've had the game plan for a couple of weeks or a week and a half, and it's just a matter of going in and implementing it, and having our guys very comfortable because they've had 2 weeks to prepare for the game plan.
Yeah, and that's why the gamesmanship from Sark, right? So that they would have to waste some time and due diligence on Arch. He didn't officially announce that Quinn was going to be the starter today. And if you're a coach, in order to be a responsible coach, it'd be irresponsible not to have some planning and some preparation for Arch. And that is also part of the game within the game, right? The chess match, because you only got so much time to prepare. You only got so much meeting time, so much practice time. And if you got to waste 10 minutes of it on Arch when Arch is not going to play and Quinn is going to play, then I think they would consider that a win. So I think that's to try to get them to at least to waste some of that time they're allotted. I think that's why coaches play those games leading up to it.
So Rod, what's the deadline that Sark would have to announce that?
That's a great question about the availability reports. I'm not sure. I know he obviously chose to do it today, and I think he's done it on a Thursday twice now.
I wish he would have listed him as questionable
until tomorrow.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Yeah, he didn't have to. I guess he figures the game the game plan's already in. He's like, they already got the game plan in at this point. Maybe so. But you're right about that, Coach. Why not just wait to the last minute? Don, thank you very much, Don. It's just 90 minutes before game time.
Yeah, so why not?
You can be coy as long as you want to, I guess, with that. Bill Belichick would do it. He'd wait till the last minute. Announce it. There you go. No, that's a good question there. All right, let's get back to the questions. How about this one from Ashley? Ashley says, Coach, what are you guys drinking during the game? That is a good question. This is what I love about, because great big time football games, you're always associated with good food and good drink. It's one of the only sports where it's like, no, I got to be eating something good and drinking something good. Richard said, I'm drinking Hennessy. All right, I'll be having shots. See, Shane, make sure you only drinking shots like either once a quarter or something like that. Don't take too many. Shane, I'm drinking.
Richard, my man.
Yeah, see, you don't need to do that in Texas losing. You don't need to do that in Texas winning. Celebratory shot.
Could it depend on how the game's going?
It does. It does. Yep. I'll switch
out. And the crazy thing about it, whether it's going for us or it's going against us, the drinks get stronger each quarter.
They get stronger. You're damn right about that. And they're either celebratory or they're
you're either celebrating or you're trying to drown your sorrows.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we'll be doing a lot of celebrating. There'll be some celebratory shots, I'm guessing. But yeah, I got to work during the game usually, so I don't get to get too, I don't get to get too hype. I don't get to get too
me either.
Because we got to work a little bit. I got to do the post game.
We do the watch with us. I always do the second quarter and halftime. So yeah. But
that's what I'm saying. So I agree with you. Trust me, if I'd have to do that, I'd probably be drinking tequila. That's what I like to drink. So that's my thing. The Green Lantern says, Coach, my McUrchin memory is when
McEachern.
McEachern. Okay.
Randy McEachern.
What? Yeah. Oh, what is McEachern? What is that?
Randy McEachern is a quarterback that came in 1977. That was a third-team quarterback and brought UT back to win in 1977. I didn't realize that his chin strap was tight and his jersey was tucked tight. 2 games later, his chin strap. Yeah, he was feeling it after 2 games. That first game, he was regulation, chin strap tight, shirt tucked in. Now that he's a man, we're going with tearaway jerseys. Yeah.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, I apologize. I was unfamiliar with McEachern. There you go. See?
Yeah, McEachern was
before my time.
We talked about it on Coffee and Football this morning. He was a guy that he was my first. I was like a sophomore in high school, and was just all about Texas. And he was, of course, I love Earl Campbell. I still think he was probably the best back I ever saw in person. But he was the one that I just, coming from third team to bring the team, come off the bench, bring the team back for a victory. I actually got my head coach knew some people there, and we actually got Randy McEachern to come and speak at a sports banquet that year. So nice. I got to hang out with him a little bit and visit with him, and it was a real thrill of mine. And I hadn't been in touch with Randy lately, but through the years we've been in. He had a son, Hayes McEachern, that was a good high school high school player. I don't remember if he played quarterback, but anyway, longtime Camp Longhorn with my kids and other friends, and McEachern family is just very special to me. And Randy is the one that really kind of set a new course for my life in terms of being all in on UT.
Wow. That is cool. Yeah, see, I know everybody's got some of those figures where for some reason in your adolescence, when you were growing up, you fixated on that player. Like, no,
that's right.
Guy.
Like we don't have a chance. He's our third team quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't throw very good. He can't run very good. But I tell you what he can do. He can win.
He can win. There you go.
He won.
Just win, baby. Just win.
Very humble guy.
I'm glad. I gotta tell you, I was unfamiliar. I'm glad you guys. I'm glad I got an education on that today. There you go. That's what On Texas Football is all about. All right, getting back to it here. Ashley wants to know. Thank you, Ashley, for the question. Will we see Niblett out of the backfield at all? I'm not sure about that because I think you're going to be healthy, probably the healthiest you've been in that running back room since training camp, or since even before that in the offseason, before the CJ Baxter injury, because you got the bye week to get guys healthy. So we should get a healthy Trey Wisner, a healthy and, reinvigorated, all right, focused Jaden Blue. And then I think after that, you get Jared Gibson. So I think those three are the ones I expect to see. But Coach brought it up in our football theory, and I think it's a great point that this is a good game to break out the pony package. It is. Now, Ryan Niblett could be a part of that, different variations of it, but it's a good game for it because it is. It last year it was. You haven't seen this year because of the injury, so it's understandable. So I'm not criticizing Sark at all, but it has been in the years since Sark has been here the most effective, most explosive, and the most efficient personnel grouping they use. Even post Bijan and Rojo, you would think, oh, it's Bijan and Rojo. No. Even last 2 seasons ago with Jay Brooks and CJ Baxter and Jaden Blue, it was still among the most effective, explosive, and efficient personnel groupings. We just haven't seen it this year. You might get it in this game because of how healthy the backfield is. So I agree.
I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me to see Niblett in the backfield. I think there's going to be some things that we're going to see, as we've said over the last 2 weeks. There's going to be a lot of things that we haven't seen or haven't seen much of that we're going to see because this is a must-win game for both teams. And I think you're going to see everything out there within reason. I'm sure we'd like to keep a couple of things in our hip pocket for Georgia, but the Georgia game is not near as big if we don't win this game. So wouldn't surprise me. I'm not looking for Niblett to be in the backfield, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's not a package that Sark comes up with.
Yeah, they only ran that pony package like 5 times last year versus Oklahoma, but they still averaged a good chunk. They had a 36-yard play out of it. They had some nice runs out of it. So it might be something that you could see. You got a great tendency to win big games, and that would be a way of doing it because we haven't seen much of that. So thank you, Ashley, for the question. How about Hook'em Horns here says, Coach is the nutty professor. All right, there you go. I'm sure that means you made him laugh, Coach. That's all that means. Donald, thank you for the question. When will we pull out the touchdown pass to a defensive lineman? Donald, we were just talking about this. I believe we talked about it. I talked about it with CJ on the preview, actually. Man, we haven't seen, and that's why CJ just predicted a trick play of some kind, a double pass, Matthew Golden throwing a touchdown, or I think he said somebody other than Quinn throwing a touchdown. We haven't seen the trick play. We haven't seen any of that kind of trick, those exotic trick plays, the double pass, the flea flicker. I would guess in this matchup, Sark's got one ready to go. Will he use it? I'm not sure because I think he'll wait on the right situation, but there's no doubt he's got a couple ready to go. And remember, Coach Sark said he likes trick plays. He said he likes it because it breaks up the monotony of practice. And he said when he runs them in practice, he makes sure to emphasize to prioritize them in the games because he doesn't want the guys thinking they're practicing stuff that they're never going to run in the games. So that's why last year and years prior, we saw them run a lot of double pass, some trick plays. I wouldn't doubt if he's got one ready to go. Did we see a red cat throw last year? Did we see a red cat pass last season? I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember.
I believe we saw a red cat pass last year.
Okay, so
red cat pass.
So here's a question, Rod. If what Donald's asking comes true, who would the defensive lineman be?
Yeah, you're right. It's a good point. I mean, last year was
because have we even seen a defensive lineman come in to block in short yardage situations?
Not this year. Not that.
Yeah, so I don't see that happening now. I think first you've got to see those guys in there leading some in blocking. You know, just on the lead or the power on the goal line, whatever, and so that when the defense sees a defensive lineman come in, all of a sudden when they hadn't seen one, they're going to be pointing at him. Potentially, but if it's somebody that has been consistently being the lead blocker, then it makes more sense, that it could happen then. But yeah, we know this, Rod. I sound like a broken record, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. It's all speculation right now. But Coach, of course, we're trying to put reason to the speculation.
Yeah.
My reasoning is we really hadn't seen a defensive lineman block on the goal line, short yardage, so I wouldn't predict that, but anything could happen.
Yeah. So it'll be thrown by Michael Hawkins.
Well done, James. Come on,
James.
James.
Brother. It'll be thrown by Michael. Yeah. What's the I forgot. What's the guy? Kalen Saunders on for the New Orleans Saints. He did it on Monday Night Football, right? He got an interception, a big boy interception, and tried to return it back. I think he got like 30-something yards on that interception return. So that would be nice. Big man interception in the Texas.
What do we wind up calling that?
The thick six, if you can take it back to the house.
Thick six. That's
thick
it.
Six, baby.
Thick
Get one of them.
and
I was right. It was yes, Savion Red had a 25-yard completion in that game. So he ran the red cat and he faked the red cat and did a little dump. I forgot who it was too as well. But my point is, I agree with Coach. You're not going to see the D lineman catch one because that you got to build up to that, and they haven't built up to it. Last year you had the jumbo package with Sweat and Murphy, and you ran that a lot leading up to that moment. And both of those guys, if I'm not mistaken, ended up catching touchdown passes, right?
I think they did.
Yeah. So I don't see, but I still think you could end up getting that 6-0 line package out there. Last year they ran. I had 14 snaps out of it versus Oklahoma last year. You averaged over 8 yards per play. That's pretty damn good. And I think that's the way they're going to break tendency this season, or at least this year versus Oklahoma, because we haven't seen it all year. And I don't know why we haven't seen that Big 11, Big 12 package. It was a staple the last couple of years. There's got to be a reason for that. And I think Sark may have something up his sleeve. We'll throw it out there. All right, let's thank you for the question, Donald. Let's get to, we have a super chat from Derek Weisner. Oh, good to have.
Happy birthday, Derek.
Yeah, happy birthday. 50, Big 5-0. Does Texas bring blitz as early to rattle the freshman quarterback? Thanks. Hey, happy B-Day to you, Derek. Appreciate you being a part of the family here. We appreciate that. Says nephew owes me and mom 100 yards and a TD. Yeah, come on
now you're talking, Derek.
Now we need that pony package.
Pay up.
Why is
pay up time?
Yeah. I'll just throw this out there about the blitz. I have said that I would try to speed up this young man's clock. CJ dropped the nugget that the average time to throw for Michael Hawkins is 3.3 seconds. He holds on to the ball. I mean, you guys, Quinn is around 2.2, 2.36. He's getting rid of the ball quickly. This young man holds on to the football. And a lot of times it's because he's scrambling. I think he's got 14 scrambles on the season. So he's going to look, if his first read isn't there or the second read in the progression, he's probably going to look to abandon that pocket if it starts to close in on him and if it starts to deteriorate. And so Texas got to be disciplined in their pass rush lanes. I don't know if you'll need to blitz them, but I would like to see it as a change of pace and as a way to speed up this young man's clock and to force him either to throw or to abandon the pocket, and you can flush him in certain directions.
Yeah.
So it would be a tendency breaker because Texas coach only blitzes around a little over 20% of the time, somewhere around there, depending on the game you're looking at.
Yeah, I think it could depend on the flow of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's being effective throwing the ball, sure, we're going to pressure him. But if you pressure him, you need to have somebody spying him because he's a pretty good runner, and it's really easy when you're blitzing for somebody to just stick an arm out there and get you off path to let the quarterback have a little lane to go through. And sometimes there's not many people there if you're blitzing. And so I don't think we'll see it consistently. I think we could see it early to get him rattled. You certainly don't want him to sit back there and get in a groove. So, Derek, as I'm thinking about this, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah, I think it's probably a pretty wise game plan to blitz him early, get him rattled. The last thing you want him to do is be unharassed and sitting back there with time to hit his receivers. You don't want that. You want him to feel the heat. You want him to feel the pressure. You want him to go, my famous last words, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
My daughter can say that, Coach. My 1-year-old daughter can say, uh-oh. She can say that. Yeah, she knows something's going wrong. No, I kind of agree because you're not – this is even more so why I feel this way, Derek. You're not scared of their wide receivers. They're missing their top 5 wide receivers. You're not afraid of the guys they have on the outside. You're just not. You're better than they are. And you should be able to hold up on an island in certain situations against them. And I would like to blitz that young guy, speed up his clock. The truth is, I guess your goal in this game, honestly, for that young man, true freshman, by the way, first true freshman to start the Texas OU game for Oklahoma. It's a lot. That's a lot to process emotionally. That's a lot mentally on him. And you want to overwhelm him if possible. And that's why I think the blitz may work, just overwhelm that young guy with the environment and with everything. So we'll see. But I think ultimately for Texas, they got the upper hand there going up against. I think the record I have for experienced quarterbacks going up against less experienced quarterbacks in this rivalry since 1990. So the more experienced quarterback, 16-5-1. It's like a 70+ % win percentage. Yeah. And Quinn's got that advantage right now in that matchup. And it is huge. All right, before we continue, let me thank one of our sponsors, our friends over at Hardgrove Roofing. We appreciate Hardgrove Roofing for sponsoring the winning drive. Also, another reason we get my man Stevie Lee on, lifetime Longhorn Stevie Lee. He comes on courtesy of Hardgrove Roofing. They have offices all over Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, including Austin, Texas as well. They're the great choice for customers everywhere for superior, reliable service. And if you're in need of a new roof, you'll want to know who's on your roof with Hardgrove Roofing. And right now is the perfect time to reach out to them via email, via online, I should say, at hardgroveroofing.com, or you can call them at 512-645-3202. They also have great partnerships with lifetime Longhorns, not only Stevie Lee, but Bert Auburn as well, the most pro burnt orange roofing company out there. And you can call today for a free roof inspection. Best price you're going to get, free $99. Hardgrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof with Hardgrove Roofing. Hardgroveroofing.com, 512-645-3202. Thank you for sponsoring the winning drive. We really appreciate it. All right, getting back to the questions here. How about this one from Spanish Steve? He says, Rod, how important will motion be in this game? I'd like to see it around 55-60% of the snaps. Yeah, Sark's average is probably between 50 and 55%. So I'm with you, Spanish Steve. The tendency for Sark is in big games, you see higher rates of pre-snap motion. Think of pre-snap motion like a vital sign, right? And in big games, you get higher rates, right? Heart rate increases, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of for Sark. Consider the pre-snap motion is like a heart rate for him. And I remember in that Michigan game, I went back and looked at it. In that Michigan game, you had your second highest rate of pre-snap motion since Sark has been at Texas. Why? Big game. You go look at the highest rates of pre-snap motion for Sark. They're always big games. The Bama game have higher rates of pre-snap motion. Michigan had higher rates of pre-snap motion. So I think, and Oklahoma's different though. Sometimes Sark, he dials it back against a Venables defense and goes with some more static looks and a little bit more judicious. I like to slather I like when he slathers the offensive game plan in pre-snap motion. Just have it all over the place. Motion shifts, double motions and shifts. I love that because I know what a pain, a headache it is for defenses. They recently asked Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, what is your most troublesome concept to deal with that modern offenses utilize and deploy? And he said pre-snap motion. He said it's just a pain. I was listening to Luke Kuechly talk about it the other day and how it changes the strength and changes coverage and all coverage responsibilities. He said it's just like you have to bake in into every coverage, into every front. You have to bake in adjustments to motion now with everything. You can't have a defense that doesn't naturally adjust to it, because if you don't adjust to it, you just told the offense what you're doing a lot of the time. So, and then sometimes you're playing the chess match, you're playing the game within the game. And now I've seen teams who don't adjust to the motion. Usually a guy moving with motion means you're in man coverage. But now defenses have gotten so savvy, they'll move a guy in motion and still be in zone and have him just pick up the zone on the other side. Or they won't adjust to the motion with a man moving with it. And that usually indicates zone, but then they'll just match up and end up with man because of the versatility of the defenders. So defense will get a little bit more savvy about it. But in short, Steve, everything improves with motion. Yards per attempt, yards per rush, passer rating, completion percentage, everything improves with motion. And I would use it 65 to 70% of the time. And Sark usually hovers around 60% in big games. So I expect him to be around that in this big game. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And if you look at if OU happens to do that, if they don't bump somebody over, for example, and they just pick up man on the other side, and you catch that from the press box from your staff up there watching, or of course Sark catching it on the sideline himself, now you can take advantage of mismatches. You know, so it's a chess match, and I'm with you, Steve. I think, and Rod, I think 55 is minimum, but I just know what it does to defenses, and I know what it does to defensive players who are not really mentally strong, you know, who haven't really prepared themselves like they should have prepared themselves. Now they see motion and shifting, and they're thinking, okay, oh man, okay, no, what we were 3-by-1, now we're 2-by-2. Okay, wait a minute, now we're, you know, whatever, pony, well, whatever. I mean, you know, it's just, to me, like you say, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to use shifting and motion to try to confuse the defense, to get the matchups that you want, and especially against a defense that's good like Oklahoma.
Yeah, and it's getting defenders to think. And the more you get a defender to think, the slower he will be, because he has to. Right. I remember Brian Harsin telling me that he's like, motion causes emotion. I like emotional defenders because they're thinking and they're not reacting. And the defenders that are reacting, they are always faster to the football. If I make you think, he said, that I'm already doing my job as a coordinator. So I'm with you on that in that respect. So good job. Good question there, Steve. We appreciate that. Michael here says, Rod, can you talk some on the DB's adjustment for the long-term plan of going up against a good receiving core to what OU has healthy, plus a quarterback mindset switch? Yeah, I mean, they're not going to face it with Oklahoma. Oklahoma doesn't have the weapons. I think the adjustment for the Texas DBs right now in this game is going to be them being uber aggressive. When they faced Michigan, who was, and even ULM, I guess, is in this category too, because they've only completed, each of those teams, 7 passes of 20 plus yards on the season. Oklahoma's completed 8, so they're still really low down on totem pole in terms of how much verticality they have within the offense. DBs can sit on routes and jump routes, and they did that against Michigan because Michigan didn't threaten them with a vertical offense at all, any vertical passing game. And I think in this game, they're going to be doing the same thing. I think the DBs are going to be sitting on routes, jumping routes, because he's a young quarterback. He's probably going to be taking his primary read and his first read. I doubt he's going deep into progressions on any play particularly. And I think ultimately they want to simplify things for him, and that's why he abandons the pocket. So I think you're going to get DBs aggressive and jumping routes. When they do play up against a really good let's say he plays against a really good wide receiving core, and when that's going to be, I don't know, because even Georgia, I don't know if they have an elite wide receiving core. I think the first time you may face an elite wide receiving core, SEC title game or college football playoff. Yeah. That may be it. And I think ultimately Texas DBs, they're much improved in coverage. You got a lot of coverage. I'll give you a stat about the coverage for Texas. It's a great stat. All right. And it'll kind of sum up how good this secondary has been so far this season. So first of all, pressure is a DB's best friend. You put pressure on the quarterback, makes my job a whole lot easier. I don't have to cover as long. Quarterbacks don't make accurate throws when they're under pressure and under duress. And that makes me look like I'm a hero because I get PBUs and I get interceptions. Here, the Longhorn coverage right now, they're secondary mostly, but in coverage, their pass defense, right now they're allowing the fewest yards per attempt without pressure in the country. So without any pressure, coach, they're allowing 4.8 yards per attempt without any pressure on the opposing quarterback. That's some sticky coverage. Yeah, that's the best number in the country. They are playing. So we without the pressure, and we talked about the edge rushers and Colin Simmons and how great they are. And those guys are applying pressure and now getting some of those splash plays in the sacks. They're still really good in coverage, coach, even without the pressure. Now, they haven't faced the elite wide receiving core. I get that. I don't know if they'll face one, Michael, all season long. I don't know if there is one left on the schedule. I'm not sure. I don't think so, honestly. I think Oklahoma was supposed to be one of the best.
Yeah. Well, as an offensive coach, one thing that I always try to do is if we have aggressive DBs that are jumping routes and we can somehow buy our quarterback some time, the obvious chess move is double move routes. Yep. Out and up, stop and go, stutter go, whatever you want to call it, but post corner post, just if he has some time. That was always my answer to people playing very aggressive with our receivers. If we can maybe get another lineman in the block, keep a back or a tight end in the block, give our receivers time to do double moves, because if they're being aggressive at jumping routes, that makes you very susceptible to the double move, which means you need to have help over the top. So if we are being aggressive, I hope we've got a couple of deep safeties back there that are helping us deep in case because like I said, as well as I do, you're jumping routes, you're rolling the dice. I mean, you're rolling the dice, and it's a lot easier to jump routes, and you're more confident jumping routes when you got help over the top. Yeah. If you don't have help over the top, man, you're playing Russian roulette, So just throw that out there.
Nope, I agree. And there's there's certain techniques you can utilize if you're going to be aggressive jumping routes. Just always aim for the upfield shoulder. Right? Mm-hmm. Aim for the upfield shoulder. You might not, you might be off in your angle to the football and then say you have to readjust, but you always force that receiver to have to his second move, execute his second move through you as a DB. If I'm aiming for the upfield shoulder, when he runs out and up, he's got that up has got to come right through me. So either I get
or he's got to go in, or he's got to go inside of you where you have help.
Yes, exactly, coach. Right, I'm going to force him to have to adjust his route based on my positioning. And if you aim for if you want to undercut that route, that's when you playing some kamikaze stuff right there, because that can blow up in your face. That guy goes to the house on you. So I would tell my DBs, all right, if y'all want to be aggressive, and then you got to aim for the upfield shoulder. And then you can adjust your angle if you have a really good angle. If the football is thrown late, or if you see the football and you see the angle of it, it's something that you can get your hands on. But aim for the upfield shoulder if you're going to do that. But you're right, coach. I just think with this quarterback and with these wide receivers on the injuries, I think the Texas DBs watching film. If I was watching film, I'd be thinking, I'm jumping. I'm jumping these routes.
Probably a good move. But I'm just saying, right. you got to be ready for what can happen.
The double move is good. And if I'm Oklahoma, not only do I use a double move, I agree with you, I got to move the pocket so I can connect that.
Good
right?
point.
If the pocket's right there, then Colin Simmons is going to crash that party before it even gets started. But you move that pocket a little bit, that buys you a good half a second, and downtown. So, Texas better be ready for it. Good stuff there. How about this super chat from Greg in Grimes County? Thank you, Greg in Grimes County. Very kind of you. said regarding the land thieves to our north, how did their suckage volume get so high as to create the scientifically proven gay bikers vortex? Well said there, Greg.
Oh boy, Greg. Won't let me live it down.
Yeah, gay bikers, man. It was a classic moment.
For those of you that don't know, I was kind of talking trash to a guy who said that if he was smart, he would run the football at number 0 because that's the weak spot. And so I'm like, well, if any gay biker is trying to tell us that Anthony Hill is the weak spot, then he's a stud. He doesn't know what the crap he's talking about. The guy's name was Gabe, Ikeer. He's a beat writer for the Sooners. I thought it was some guy like at Texas Boy. I thought it was a handle at Gay Biker. So I'm like, what in the heck is this gay biker doing calling our best linebacker, probably a future NFL Hall of Famer, our weak spot? Yeah, only a gay biker would do that. But it turns out he's a real guy. And hey, I'll say this. We've tried to get him on the show so I could apologize to him. We could have a little fun. I'm sure I'm not the first one that's ever thought that, but
we still will, Coach.
I don't know I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I'm sure I'm not the first knucklehead that ever got confused when I heard his name.
No, Coach, we're effing it. We're still going to try to get that done. Damn it.
All right.
Gabe Eichard, the
I'm sorry. I just
played Oklahoma. No, I
thought I heard what I heard.
You guys know I talk fast, and I was talking fast when I introduced the topic, and I just ran through. I didn't enunciate my words, and then I said Gabe Eichard. Gabe Eichard. That's all I said. Gay biker.
Gay biker. Yeah. And I'm like anybody. I mean, I'm like the hair on the back of my neck standing up. Anybody calling Anthony Hill the weak spot in our defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I came out swinging.
Now we'll see. We'll see if that's the weak spot in the Texas defense. I'm sure that comment got back to Anthony Hill. The social media is a very intimate place. I'm sure he got back to him somehow. And I'm sure he's got something to say about that after he ends up having the game of his life.
And of course, the first thing I think of, gay biker, I'm wondering, what does his seat look like? I mean.
See? And there you go. That's exactly right.
Did it again. Boom, I'm on
every show. Toward the end of the show. Now, I will say Coach Wade's like, we're toward the end of the show. And he's like, I'm going to say something that's going to shock the hell out of you. And he's going to have to use the gift.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
I don't mean to do that. It's just so fun. You guys don't understand. I've been stuck in a coach's office for freaking 37, 38, 40 years, and I can't say anything that I really think. And now I can say whatever I want.
You can say
I ain't going to ever run for office, but I can say what I'm thinking. And I think some pretty crazy things. And so it's fun to kind of just throw them out there, and I like to make people laugh. It's fun. I mean, life's too short.
I don't think people realize how funny Coach was. See, there's some people tuned in like, I've been knowing Coach for years. I ain't never heard Coach.
Yeah, he coached me for 8 years. I never heard him. Yeah, no, they heard me crack a lot of jokes.
Oh man, Dickie do jokes? Or what is it?
No, none of those. No, not. None of those. But
none of those.
Yeah,
the PG-13.
The fun one was the first time you got a new guy on the team as a freshman, and you got everybody up. You tell them we didn't have any lights on our practice field, so I said, "Okay, Jimmy, you got to go cut off the lights. We got to go in, and I want you to cut them off before we go in." So Jimmy takes off running. Jimmy's looking around. There ain't even a light pole. There's not even a light pole on the practice field, and everybody like Jimmy's running around. And he's like, how do I turn the lights off? How do I turn the lights on, Coach, for night practice? Well, you might notice we don't have any light poles.
Oh, man. He was hustling, though, Coach. He's got to
he was hustling. He was hustling. He was running, and he was like,
where am I running to? Where am I going?
What? Somebody help me.
That's good. I like that. There you go. Not bad. See? All right. Before we continue, I know we're getting close to it. Let me thank another one of our sponsors, Flat Creek Estate Winery, folks. Did you know the most awarded wine in Texas is actually the vineyard closest to Austin? That's right, folks. Flat Creek Estate Winery, just minutes from downtown Austin. And they've won award after award this year for their vintage wine, Super Texan. I actually love it, and my wife does too. She's a big fan of Super Texan. We got a couple of bottles in the house right now. Super Texan is now available at your local Spec, so give it a try. Also, it's available at your local Central Market. My wife does some shopping there, and they had a beautiful Flat Creek Estate display there showcasing all their great wines. You can go online and check them out at flatcreekestate.com, or you can go check them out in person. They have a gorgeous venue with barbecues and wine tastings every single weekend, perfect for a day date with your significant other or a weekend getaway with your significant other. That's Flat Creek Estate Winery, flatcreekestate.com. Thank you very much for sponsoring the winning drive. We really appreciate all of their support. All right, a couple of questions. I know we're getting close to the end of things. We got Greg Allen with the super chat. Thank you, Greg. Really appreciate that. Says, guys, I think the Texas D will come out pumped and have their best game because they've heard nothing but talk about OU's elite defense for 2 weeks. Yeah, that is true. Texas, I did some research on this. Essentially, Texas defense statistically is ranked higher than Oklahoma's defense in almost every major statistical category except for sacks, tackles for loss, and takeaways. That's Oklahoma. That's their bread and butter. That's their claim to fame. That's what feeds the beast of their defense. Takeaways, negative plays. They're as good as anybody in the country at getting takeaways and forcing negative plays, Coach. That's what they do really well. They're actually not necessarily a structurally sound defense, and they're not a suffocating defense that will limit you at every turn and they then stonewall you. That's not really how they work. They make crucial plays in critical moments, and they force a lot of takeaways and negative plays and havoc plays on defense. That's what they do really well, and that's what Texas has to guard against.
Yeah, and I used to always tell my team, practice like you've never won, play like you've never lost. You've got to have great respect for every opponent and play like you practice like you've never beaten them. Okay, but when that game starts, I want you playing like you've never lost a game. You've been there, you know what to do. I think it's going to be. I hope that's the mindset of our offense coming in, defense coming into this game. I hope the talk at the end of the game will be about our defense and not OU's defense.
Yeah. And I went and looked at it. I was looking at OU's defensive rankings in different categories. They're top 3 in the country in takeaways. They're if you look at sacks, they're top 20 in sacks. If you look at tackles for loss, they're top 15. They're top 10 in sacks. They're top 15 in tackles for loss. If you look at their third down defense, they're 17th in third down defense, but Texas is 8th in third down defense. In touchdown percentage allowed, they're 12th in touchdown percentage allowed. Texas is 1st in touchdown percentage allowed. If you look at 10+ yard plays allowed, they are 25th in 10+ yard plays allowed. Texas is 1st in 10+ yard plays allowed. And if you go look at 20+ yard plays allowed, they're 17th. Texas is actually 15th. So Texas actually is better in a lot of categories. It's just that when you look at the splash plays and havoc plays, that's when Oklahoma separates. But we haven't seen Texas defense. They get splash plays and havoc plays, not as many as Oklahoma does. Oklahoma is elite in those categories. So that's the difference. But I think Texas defense is a top 5 defense. I really do. I think it's a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
Coach, I like this question for you from Wayne. Great question here. We in trouble if OU rushes for blank yards. We in trouble if OU rushes for blank yards. How many yards?
I say 100.
Ooh, 100. Ooh, I might go like 150.
Yeah, I'm stingy though. I'm stingy.
I was gonna say I might go 150.
Yeah, I'll be uncomfortable with 100. Yes, we're in trouble if it's 150. You're probably right.
And
you're probably right.
Big part of it, Coach, is how those rushing yards come, right? Are we talking about scramble by the quarterback? Are we talking about him breaking away? Because the reason the quarterback running yards, this young man likes to scramble. I think he's got 14 scrambles on the season. Remember, that was the tendency breaker that beat you last year with Dylan Gabriel. He ran for more yards than any other game in the history of his career. And it was scrambles and quarterback draw and scrambles. That's what beat you in that game. They're going to have it in this package to see if Texas learned the lesson from last year. So a lot of those rushes are coming from the quarterback. That would be even more troubling. That would say Texas didn't learn the lesson from last year. And that means the quarterback was probably the catalyst of the running game. And Texas hadn't seen a quarterback really with that kind of dual threat ability. And it might be an indicator of a problem Texas has within the defense of corralling QBs like that.
Yeah. And like I've always said, you have a running quarterback. It's like you've got 12 guys on offense. You've got a guy that is typically unaccounted for. And so that's a great point. And I would think that would be a good philosophy for Seth Luttrell to try to implement against us, because it's been a problem before. And if we don't have them accounted for, it could be a problem again.
Yeah, no, like I said, that was a great tendency breaker last year for them. And you could make the argument probably the most important, because it was a big part of them being able to get the advantage over Texas in the running game with Dylan Gabriel. All right, a couple other questions. I know we're getting close to the end of it here. Hook'em Horns, this one for you, Coach, says, Coach, he's talking about Venables. Vegetables keep talking Texas tendencies. What tendencies do you think we need to break for this game? From Hook'em Horns. Thank you, Hook'em Horns. We appreciate that. What are your thoughts, Coach?
Well, I think one of the tendencies we've seen the last couple of games, we won't see as much, and that's throwing it deep as much as we have. I think you'll see a more short to intermediate passing game with an occasional shot, but I do think you'll try to see Texas get their running game going, because we've got to keep them off balance. So I like our tendencies. I like the fact that we try to jump on people early and put the pressure on them and get them behind us a couple of touchdowns and put the pressure on them. So I don't know that I would be going in trying to break a lot of tendencies. I think the tendencies that you'll see us break are things that you and I or maybe the average fan won't even notice. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's formation, shifting, motion, some different wrinkles, you might not even really realize that they're there. But I would like to see us blitz more defensively, roll the dice a little bit more, put some pressure on the young quarterback, and maybe not take the deep shots quite as much. And I don't think we'll see that with Quinn. I think we'll see the short, intermediate routes that Quinn's so good at, with guys getting yards after the catch.
And if you look at that, would be a tendency breaker if Texas decides to go with a more balanced offense, right? More balanced offense, because if you look at the early down pass rates for Texas, the only game where they were below 60% was Arch's first start. And we know that was because he probably wanted to ease Arch into that role. But other than that, Sark likes to throw the ball, especially in big games. He likes to throw the ball early, throw to open up the run. And, you would think that's the case, but Venables knows that too. So one of the ways to break tendency would be to run the football. And I'll say this, if you're going to run it with Jaden Blue, you should run it out of 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. Look at the number. Jaden Blue right now, I believe on the season, averaging 4.7 yards per rush, somewhere around there. He's averaging 5.8 yards per rush when he's running behind 12 personnel, 1 back, 2 tight ends. So if I'm Sark, that's kind of where I start. And if you want to even throw out the Big 12, which is that extra offensive lineman, that Malik Agbo, you can run behind that. Last year, you averaged almost 7 yards per rush running behind the 6 O-line package. Add that with Jaden Blue. Jaden Blue is a much more effective runner, it seems right now, behind at 12 personnel with Juan Davis and Gunnar Helm and other personnel groupings. His average yards per carry drops to around 4 yards per rush. So that would be a change of pace, him deciding to come out and run the football. I don't know if we'll see that. That's just not really in Sark's DNA. And I actually think, Coach, they may take some shots in this game against Oklahoma early. I do. I think because Oklahoma, it's amazing. They don't have a lot of vulnerabilities, but they've allowed Power 5 quarterbacks to complete damn near 69% of their passes that travel 20 yards or more in the air. If you're Sark, that might be a little too enticing to leave on the table, because they're allowing those types of numbers to Auburn and to U of H. Man, what can Texas wide receivers and Texas quarterbacks with their pass protection do against Oklahoma? I think you might get a couple of shots, sir. I think Sark, it's going to be too. It's going to be too appetizing for him to pass up. He's going to be looking at it like, man. And I think they're starting corners dealing with an injury. One of the starting corners was on that availability report too. I think they might. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
As long as it's not on first down. I mean, I just hate to see you get second and third and long and get yourself in a situation where you're out of your game plan now. Make positive yardage on first down and try to get 5-6 yards. Then you can take a shot, and but I don't like to see us not gain any positive yardage on first down, because that really puts you behind. Most coaches will say that they want positive yards on first down. Although Sark has been, there's times that he will throw it deep on first down, try to catch you off guard.
He does. No, actually, I'm with you, Coach. I think that was one of the things that, we criticized Sark for. I think almost 50% of his deep balls actually at one point prior to last season were on first down. And I think that's what he liked, to surprise teams that way. But when you didn't connect, you'd be in second and long and third and long situations. All right, we get close to the end here. Let me thank our friends over at South Point Dodge before we end our live stream. I want to thank them for sponsoring the winning drive and being part of the Owen Texas football family. Longhorn fans, you can get to the point and score an easy extra point this season with our friends over at South Point Dodge. They have over 600 vehicles in stock right now, including a great selection of Ram 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s. Whatever your truck needs, South Point Dodge is the one-stop shop. And right now, they have a great selection and a great deal happening. They have a great deal with over 50 Ram 2500s, all marked down right now with huge savings over at South Point Dodge. Check out southpointdodge.com to look at and check out their fantastic inventory, or you can go check it out in person off of I-35 in South Austin. That's South Point Dodge. That's Austin's automotive everything and your one-stop shop for all things that have to do with your truck. We appreciate South Point Dodge for sponsoring the winning drive. All right, how about this one? The Green Latin, if Blue fumbles in the first quarter, do you sit him the rest of the game? Ooh, I don't expect it to happen, but Coach?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You cannot afford a guy that has a history of putting the ball on the ground to cost you this game. We've got a couple of guys that can go behind him. At least set him down for a while. God, he ain't doing it on purpose. But and certainly the last 2 weeks they've worked on it every single day, ball security. But if he fumbles in the first quarter or second quarter, I set him down. Set him down, and let's go with Wisner. Let's go with Jarrett Gibson. Let's let him think about it a little bit.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, he's got, if you include fumbles and include drops, I mean, you're talking about the last 2 years or so. You're talking about 4 fumbles and I believe 5 drops. That's a lot of fumbles and drops for a ball carrier. That's probably the biggest indictment, I would say, of a running back in terms of NFL scouting in NFL scouting reports. That's the one data point that will not be off
not. Yeah, you don't want to be known for that.
You don't want to be known.
Not want to be known for that.
All right, one more here. Osvaldo says, can we talk about all the great matchups we have seen so far with the removal of subdivisions in the SEC? Bama versus Vandy, Tennessee versus Arkansas, Kentucky versus Ole Miss, Bama versus Georgia. You're right. I mean, it's the SEC right now. There ain't no pushovers and easy wins anymore. Vandy proved that, and Arkansas proved that by beating Tennessee. Ain't no easy wins. There's no doubt about that. All right, thank you, Osvaldo. We appreciate that. Joe Morris says it's Friday morning down under. I can tell everyone in advance. OU still sucks. You're damn right. No matter what time of the day it is, OU still sucks. Coach, thank you very much for all the wisdom. I appreciate it each and every time, and the comedic timing. We also appreciate that, too. You're always lighting up our day. Thank you to Matthew behind the scenes. He's the real MVP. We can't make it happen without him. Spanish, he says, Coach, will you be at the game? If you bump into Gabe Eichert, you should gift him some colorful leather tassels for his handlebars. It's great.
Yeah, I was thinking about a bike seat, but with the implement added. But I mean, whatever. It'll be good.
We'll figure it out. All right. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Duck Camp. Thank you to Flat Creek. Thank you to Hardcore Roofing. And thank you to South Point Dodge. Said thank you to all you guys for watching and listening and your participation and all the super chats. And until next time, tomorrow, remember, you'll have coffee and football. And then we'll have our live stream happening. Our 1 p.m. live stream will be happening tomorrow. All of that and more right here on Texas Football. Until next time, hook 'em horns.